Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Cimnanya on ISIM. I thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. You all already know that the presidential election is almost here and it's really been a lot going on. And I hope you all are also getting ready for those that have not voted yet. And it's really been the internet has really been on fire. So many people, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Hispanics, Muslims, a lot of things has really been up. And for those that have been all actually out there screaming, we are voting for this person because he promised us good life, good health, and good eyes too. I hope you all are seeing all the jokes going around, and I hope you all are not going to do that thing that it's on your mind because you already know that if you do that thing that it's on your mind, you will be packing your bags real soon. And for those that he promised peace of mind, he said, especially the Muslims, I hope you are also packing your bags because it's really going to be great for you all. It looks like some people really do not understand. And for Palestinians that say they are not going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's this, she's that, I hope you all are also getting ready because he is not going to spare anyone and you are not even spared, right? So make sure you come out and exercise your right. Vote because it is your human right to come out to vote and make sure you do the right thing while also voting. See you all. Let's get into this.
So, as we get closer and closer to the presidential election here in the US, I am going to be using my platform here on TikTok, in addition to my platforms on other social media apps, to rally people to vote or have a voting plan in place if they haven't already. Why? Because this election matters, as does every election, and because to whom much is given, much is required. With great power comes great responsibility. I have something of a sizable following here on TikTok, and I plan to use that following here on TikTok for good. So this is for all of the quote unquote undecided swing voters who still haven't decided who they're going to vote for 8 days out from the election. I'd like to present you with a little scenario. There are 9 people on a bus, okay? 3 people vote to drive the bus over a cliff. 2 people vote to drive to go get ice cream instead. 4 people don't bother voting at all. What do you think happens to the bus? The bus drives over a cliff and everybody dies. This is what we're dealing with here. This is the scenario that we're dealing with here for all of the undecided people who are saying that they're not going to vote to maintain the morality, who are still not convinced by either candidate. You're on the bus with everyone else. You are on the bus with everyone else. And the people who have decided to vote, who are going to vote for Trump and Vance, they are most likely going to turn out in higher, stronger numbers for the in-person voting, because right now they're counting ballots for mail-in early voting. We know that Republican and conservative voters are more likely to vote in person. So their votes are going to be counted. And while you are sitting there saying that you're going to withhold your vote, I would like you to remember this scenario. I would like you to remember all of the women you have in your networks and communities. I'd like you to remember all the immigrants in your communities. I would like you to remember all of the working class, middle class people and individuals with disabilities in your communities. I'd like you to think about how you have to budget and count pennies basically every time that you have to buy necessities like groceries and housing and things like that. I'd like you to think about which political party fought to pass the Inflation Reduction Act. I'd like you to think about which political party ensured that the United States finally pulled out of Afghanistan and did something that 1, 2, 3 prior administrations could not do. I would like you to think about these things. I would like you to think about which political party appointed extremely conservative Supreme Court justices who in turn eliminated oversight and regulation of food industries. And as a result of eliminating that regulation, people are dying from poisoning from foods and groceries they're purchasing from grocery stores, even though this hasn't happened in America for decades rather, because we have regulation of those industries. I'd like you to think about your tax rate and how your tax rate continues to go up and you continue to being squeezed and squeezed and squeezed out of your income, and it is harder and harder to live, harder and harder to have disposable income. I'd like you to think about which political party as responsible for giving multi-billion and trillion-dollar tax breaks to billionaires while leaving the rest of us to fend for ourselves. I'd like to remind you which political party left us to fend for ourselves at the beginning of the pandemic, and which political party was running the federal government at the beginning of the pandemic and left it to individual states to protect us and to provide for us and look after our welfare. I'd like you to think about which political party advocated for widespread coverage of healthcare and food assistance and cash assistance and eviction moratoriums for individuals at the beginning of the pandemic. I'd like you to think about which political party was responsible for tax breaks for parents of children under a certain age throughout the pandemic. I'd like you to think about which political party was responsible for ongoing food assistance and cash assistance even after the height of the pandemic died down. I'd like you to think about these things while you're sitting there undecided. I'd really like you to think about these things. And yes, I'm absolutely using my platform to bully, because bullying works in this environment. In this scenario, under these very unique circumstances, bullying absolutely works. So yes, I am bullying you. And last but certainly not least, if none of those things convince you, if you're still sitting there on your high horse, just claiming to be undecided because you like to be contrarian, because you like to get attention that you don't otherwise get in your meaningless, pitiful life, and because you have nothing important to say, you're not charismatic, you're not attractive, you're broke, and feel like everyone else in this social media space is getting more attention than you because you don't have anything unique to add to social discussion. So therefore, you're just going to continue being contrarian for the purposes of being contrarian, not because you actually have high morals or because you're a saint of some kind. I leave you with this, okay? If none of those things convince you, I'd like you to think about your future in this country. I'd like you to think about what your day-to-day life would look like under the rule of someone like Donald J. Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance. I'd like you to think about what the future of your life and your country will look like in the event that Donald Trump wins and then the Republican Party invokes the 25th Amendment and appoints and uplifts J.D. Vance to the office of the presidency of the United States. I'd like you to think about the Supreme Court justices someone like J.D. Vance would appoint. I'd like you to think about the cabinet positions that would be filled by someone like J.D. Vance. I'd like you to think about the people in your network whom you may know personally or not know, who are employed by the federal government, who would become unemployed without retirement, Social Security, and without health insurance in the event that Donald Trump wins and goes through with eliminating entire administrative agencies at the federal level, including but not limited to the Department of Education, the NOAA, so on and so forth. I'd like you to think about what your life, your future would look and feel like without those things, because it's very easy to sit here and speak in the abstract and say, well, those things can't happen, or, it's very difficult rather to sit here and imagine what your life would look and feel like because you're so accustomed to those protections, to those rights, to those privileges. You can't fathom a day in the life of what it would look and feel like to not have those things anymore. But I'd like you to fathom that. I would like you to use your imagination to fully understand what life would be like under someone like Donald J. Trump and under someone like J.D. Vance in the event that Vance is uplifted to the office of the presidency if the Republican Party is serious about invoking the 25th Amendment in the event that Trump wins. I want you to think about that. Think about going to the grocery store and because there are no statutes or legislations to put greedy billionaire corporations in check, they can initiate things like surge pricing. So every time you go to the grocery store, you can't even budget properly. You don't know how much eggs are going to cost. You don't know how much your food costs are going to be day to day, hour to hour, right? I want you to think about what it will be like buying the food from the grocery store and it has disease and bugs and worms and things like that because there are no more federal regulations protecting us from disease and outbreak in the foods that we eat. I want you to think about what it would be like if you live in a hurricane flood zone, or if you live somewhere that's prone to inclement weather at certain times of the year, and there's no NOAA or National Weather Service that is freely available, not something that you have to pay a subscription for, but is freely available to provide you with warnings about impending inclement weather, and you don't have time to evacuate or protect yourself or your loved ones. Think about what that, and close your eyes Okay, if you have to go into fucking hypnosis, do it and think and feel what that would be like for you, the individual, since you're too moral and too high and hoity toity and ivory tower to have some empathy and think about what life would be like for others. Think about yourself then. Think about that. And then come back and let me know if you're still undecided. Because if you are, I will reach through this phone and punch you in your nose and break your shit and then drag you kicking and screaming to your nearest voting station and help you fill out your ballot my goddamn self if that's what I have to do. Thank you and good night.
So this is all I got from this video, and for those that have ears, I hope you all hear. And I hope like a lot has really been going on for days. Like, the internet has really been interneting, right? And I hope some people that said that they are not gonna vote, I hope they change their mind. I hope you all are seeing things going on. I hope you wake up. I hope you sit up and know that this election is really very important, that it is very important that you come out and exercise your human right, because man, I really just don't want to like imagine some certain things, but the truth is that I really want, like, black people most especially to be okay. I mean, like, better off than yesterday. I don't know if you understand what I am saying. So do what you are supposed to do, and I hope that those people that come out, and I don't know, those Muslims that those that come out to keep saying they are endorsing this person for peace. I hope you only came out on that podium to say it for saying sake. And I hope when you are ready to vote, I hope you vote like, the right person, because man, your life is not, like, I don't know how to explain this. You are not even safe. And so let's just imagine, okay, imagine those that have kids too, like, and you are not safe, your children are not okay, and you are out there screaming, like, he promised us peace, no war, and like, he's going to finish them, they are going to finish us, like all those stories, and some people are buying into that. Are you okay? You already have to wake up. Like, I don't know if I don't know if I am losing anything at this point in time, but a lot of people will be losing a lot. I mean, you all do the needful. When I say do the needful, please do the needful. Make sure you vote for the sake of your maybe siblings, younger ones, brother, sister. I don't know, but like, make sure you vote the right person. And I am wishing you all luck. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.